If your sales team isn't doing these things, then you are going to destroy your business. Sales reps, tips, and tricks to close more sales. Now, we've helped thousands of coaches in the consulting, coaching space. We've built tons of sales teams, and today we're going to give you some direct content on exactly what you need to do to get your sales team selling, or if you're a rep yourself, how to make more sales right now. And if you like this content, make sure to subscribe so you get notified by the little notification bell in the corner. Like this video if you find it useful, and of course, comment in the comments below with any questions or thoughts you've got on this content. Okay, so today we're going to talk about some tips and tricks for sales reps to close more sales. And one of the first suggestions I'm going to make is probably not something you've heard from a sales trainer before. Maybe you have, and that is to actually meditate. I can't stress enough how important it is that you be present with the prospect that you're talking to so that you can really understand them at a deep level. But if you're in your mind thinking about what's the next question you're going to ask, or worried about what they might be thinking about you, or thinking about what you had for breakfast, then you may not be as present as you think. And a lot of people don't realize how powerful meditation can be in helping you prepare for your sales calls. See, meditation is really just the practice of quieting your mind. And the reason we take time each day to practice quieting our mind is so that in the moment, when we really need to, we can quiet our mind and be in the present moment. And so practicing that for 30 minutes every morning is a way to get in the habit of, every time a thought comes up, to go back to your breath and stay centered. And that's exactly what you need to do on a sales call. You need to be able to stay centered, right? The client or the prospect that you want to become a client is going to take you on a journey, right? They're going to share their story with you. And here's the thing, on every sales call, somebody's going to get sold. Either you're going to buy their story or they're going to buy yours. And of course, we want them to buy your story, which is that them taking action and investing with you to get the result they want is going to be the right decision for them. Assuming, of course, that it is. And that's really important too, right? It's okay if at the end of that call, you do buy their story because in fact, they aren't a good fit. You can't help them. You should be ethical in every sales interaction that you have, because at the end of the day, sales is service. And one of the best ways to do that is to rid your mind of all the distractions, like that you need this commission, that you need to make this sale, that you said the wrong thing or you did the wrong thing. Your mindset is one of the keys to success in sales. And so taking time every day to practice tuning your mind, clearing it, and being present is going to help you get amazing results in your sales call. So one of the number one things you can do is to meditate. The next thing is to always make sure that you've got belief in the offer. You got to realize that the buyer is going to borrow your belief. If you don't believe that this is the best thing that they should do, that making the investment with you and taking the leap and buying is going to get them the result, or is the best chance of them getting the result, if you don't have that belief, then they can't borrow it from you. They're not going to believe it, and they're just not going to buy. So if you don't have belief, especially if you're a salesperson who's selling for somebody else, if you don't have belief, then you need to go get that belief. Now, one way to do that is to ask endless questions of the business owner until they have satisfied you to a point that you feel you have total conviction about their offer. If you haven't done that with the business owner and you're a sales rep who works for someone else, you need to do that today. You need to actually go and get that belief, because I don't care what other tips and tricks I give you in this video, none of them are going to work if you don't have conviction in what you're selling. And if you are a business owner who's selling your own offer and you don't have belief, then you also need to get that belief. That's one of the number one things that we tend to work with clients who come in who aren't yet ready to build a sales team and want to work with us directly to hone their own sales, is helping them get to a place where they can truly see the value in their offer and have that high level of conviction and belief. So whether you're a salesperson selling for someone else or you're selling your own offer, having that belief is really, really going to be key. The next is product knowledge. Now, if you're the business owner and you're selling your own offer, this should be fairly easy for you. Now, sometimes when you're first starting out and you're kind of tweaking your offer and what deliverables you give and that sort of thing, you may have some areas that you're not going to know as well. But you do know that at the end of the day, the product is your coaching, your support, your training. And so having that product knowledge should be fairly easy for you as a business owner. Take some time, make sure you've got things mapped out. What are the milestones you do with a client if you're new and you're just getting going with your offer? And make sure you've got a clear idea of what it takes to get results and who is best going to get those results, so that when you're on a call with a prospective client, you can go through those milestones and what it'll take to get results. And you can also qualify that they are in fact a good fit, because trying to sell to people that you're not sure are a good fit, it's going to be awfully hard to, again, do that with conviction. And if you're a sales rep and you feel like you don't fully understand how a prospective client goes from where they are today to where they want to be, to the outcome or the goal that they're setting for themselves, that they want to achieve by making this investment, if you're not clear on what that looks like, then you need to get with the business owner and make sure you understand that product. Now, you don't need to know every single nuance that happens, but you do need to understand the process, and you do need to understand how the different avatars, the different types of people that show up who are going to buy, how those different people take that pathway to success. And so again, if you don't have that belief, if you don't have that product knowledge, go out and get it. Ask questions until you're satisfied. Because if you don't ask questions until you're satisfied, you will end up on the phone with prospects who regularly ask questions until they're satisfied. And if you can't answer their questions, you're not going to make the sale. And you're also going to start to have a lack of belief in the product, because when they ask questions that you don't have the answer to, that's going to bring up doubts in you. And you want to be somebody on the phone with total conviction, who has no doubts about the prospect's ability to get results. So those are some key components, but then it's really important not only that you understand the prospect, not only that you have the belief in the offer, not only that you understand your own mind and the ability to quiet it, it's also really important that you understand the prospect. That's why it's so important to do that meditation practice. It's important because part of your job is to be present on the phone so that you can uncover what's really going on for the prospect. In fact, you want to be able to see things that they can't see themselves, because part of your job is to help them see around the corner what they can't quite see yet, right? They've got blocks. When you're in the thick of trying to solve a problem in your own life, in your own business, it's hard to see the forest through the trees. And so your job is to understand the prospect and ask questions that help them start to even understand themselves, why they are where they're at, why they haven't gotten the result they've gotten up till now, right? What it's costing them to stay where they are, and why it's so important for them to get help and make an investment to actually make that change in their life or in their business. So again, you have to be able to understand the prospect. Now, the next one I want to say is, I've heard a lot, and you'll hear this at a lot of sales seminars. I don't like saying this, but the truth is that all buyers are liars. And what I mean by that is not that they're purposefully trying to mislead you, but the reality is that the ego gets in the way. And so oftentimes when you're talking to a buyer, they are going to tell you a story. And sometimes that story isn't true, but they don't even know it's not true. And you're not going to know it's not true unless you ask questions, unless you dig deeper, unless you really try to understand it. And if it doesn't make sense to you, then keep asking questions until it does. Great example of this, okay? I had a salesperson that we were training. He was on the phone. He was here in the US, but he was selling for a company that sold all over the world, had a prospect who was talking to him in Australia. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. He's talking to the prospect. The prospect says, "Oh my gosh, this sounds great. This is exactly what I need." Now, this prospect had been stuck for quite some time. They were really, really ready to break out and get the result that they wanted. It was investing into a business program to help them get more leads and grow their business. The salesperson had a total belief in the offer. They really did believe that this was the best investment that this prospect could make. They got to the end of the call, and the prospect said to them, "Hey, this is great. I totally want this 100%. I don't have my credit card right now. Why don't we connect again this weekend, and I'll be ready to jump in." Now, that salesperson bought that lie hook, line, and sinker. And guess what happened that weekend? Well, that prospect ghosted them and never came back. Now, the truth is that that person was probably almost all the way there sold, but fear came up. And so they used the excuse that, hey, I don't have my credit card with me, so let's wait. Whereas if the salesperson had asked questions, had actually followed up, and here's a great question to ask. I just want to understand, we've come all this way. You've shared with me, you've been stuck, that you're ready to take action, that you, in the past, you've procrastinated. You shared all of this with me, and now we're here at the precipice where you're about to jump, take the leap to get everything you've been trying to get, and you're saying, you don't have your credit card. Now you're at home, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm curious, where's your credit card? Right? Like just a simple follow-up question like that. Like, are you, and you want to do that with some empathy. It's okay to say, hey, are you sure that's really what's going on? Are you sure there's not some other, fear or concern that you've got that's holding you back from taking that leap today? Right? So you don't want to let the prospect lie to you. If it's clear, if you're really listening and you're really paying attention, and they say something that doesn't connect, like, I'm at home at 3 o'clock in the morning without my credit card. Where is your credit card? Were you robbed today? Right? I'm not going to say that on the call, but I'm going to wonder that, right? Unless the story is, hey, today I got carjacked and they took my wallet and my car and I literally don't have my credit card, right? Which should, by the way, have come out earlier in the sales call, right? If something like that happened, you're going to hear that story earlier in the call. If you have gotten all the way to the end of the sales call and now all of a sudden there's some whopper of a lie that doesn't make sense or something that they're saying that doesn't connect, you want to ask. Now, a similar story just like that happened where we had a salesperson who did ask that question. Very, very similar prospect, same exact story, same exact thing. And the salesperson said, hey, let me ask you, where's your credit card? That's all they did, just one question. Oh, it's out in the car. I said, oh, okay. Out in the car, like, yeah, it's just out in the driveway and it's just late. I don't want to go out. It's like, hey man, you've just shared with me that like, you're ready to take action and take a leap and make this happen in your business, and you're sick of being stuck and you know that this is the exact thing that you should do. But now we're here at the end and you're telling me it's too far to walk down your driveway to your car to get your wallet. I want to see you succeed, but that means taking action, and money loves speed. So take action. Let's get your wallet. Let's make this happen so you can get started and dive into this material. By tomorrow morning, you can be on your way to actually taking the steps you need to succeed. So that was the kind of conversation that salesperson had. Didn't let them off the hook. Guess what? That prospect went out to his driveway, got his credit card, and bought. And the reality is, when a prospect gets off the phone, they are going to start, look, I don't care what anybody says, people buy on emotion. They're in an emotional state, they're ready to buy. Now, if you've done your job and you've made sure to qualify them, that there's somebody can get results, that this is the right program for them, that this is what they need, you have total belief and conviction that this is the investment they should make, then you shouldn't be afraid to call them on a little bit of BS, like, I don't want to go down the driveway to get my wallet out of the car when I've just said that I'm ready to take action and do whatever it takes to get results. Those two things are not congruent. So point those incongruencies out, right? Be a leader on your sales calls. Don't let them lie to you. The next tip that I really wish more salespeople would do is to review your calls, right? Whether you do in-person sales or you do phone sales, you, whenever possible, want to record your calls. Now, make sure you check the laws for any state that you're in or country that you're in on being able to do that. In some cases, you have to let them know, other you don't. I always, anytime it's a phone call, because most of my sales are all phone sales, I just always say something very simple. Hey, we do record all of our calls for training purposes. With that said, let's dive in. Share with me what's not working in your business right now, right? And I don't ask permission. I just follow the law and I let them know. So make sure you check the laws in your state, but you want to review your calls. And the reason that I record every single call is, as much as I hate the sound of my own voice, in fact, watching this video later is going to drive me nuts, I still want to make sure that I am doing everything right in a call. And when I go back and listen to a sales call, it's amazing how often I'm like, wow, I did not hear the tone change in their voice when they said that. that was an indicator of what I found out later in the call. I should have caught that there. Or, oh, I didn't hear that they said that. I missed that, right? Maybe I was in my head. I didn't do my meditation that morning, so I wasn't as prepared. So you want to make sure and review your calls, because you will learn things and you'll be able to make adjustments. This is one of those tricks that a lot of salespeople take me up on this. And I say, just look, for the next month, review one call every single week. And every salesperson who does that comes back to me and goes, I have improved my close rate, oftentimes by 5, 10, 15, 20%, because I realized there were some things that I was doing in the call that I wasn't conscious of. Okay, so we do a lot of things subconsciously we don't realize. Reviewing your calls is going to help you, not do that. Then whatever is coming up in your calls, practice, right? Find somebody to role play with. I was really good. I used to role play with my dog, right? Role play with your dog, role play in the shower, right? Think when you have an objection that comes up that you're like, man, that didn't make sense, that objection, right? Well, what questions would you have asked? How would you have handled that differently? Practice that. Okay, so that's the next tip is to actually practice. And the final one, look, and this might seem a little self-serving, whether it's me or someone else, get coaching. All right, somebody else looking over your shoulder to coach you. The highest performers in the world all have coaches, right? Tiger Woods, one of the best golfers in the world at one point. He always had more than one coach. He always had multiple people coaching him and working with him. And so I can't stress enough how important it is to have mentors, to have coaches to help you, because you're only going to be able to go so far on your own. So today I've shared with you 8 different tips and tricks, right? Make sure to meditate. Make sure that if you don't have belief in your offer, that you get belief. Always do the work to have the product knowledge that you need to be able to sell your product. Understand your prospects. And then, of course, if you are truly listening and understanding your prospects, then you're not going to let them lie to you. Make sure to review your calls. Always practice. And, of course, get a coach if you need some additional help in improving your sales. Okay, if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe with the little notification bell in the corner so that you get notifications on future videos. Like this video if you found it helpful, and of course, if you think somebody else might find this video, share it with them. And if you want more training and more support on your sales calls, then in the description box below this video, click the link to join our free Facebook group, Master Your Sales.